All right, turning now to a new push across the country. That is to ban social media for children, okay? It is something I did in my home only until my son turned 14 and a half did I allow him to start to have social media, but it's totally monitored by me. Many states, like Florida, Arkansas, they're considering this in places like Ohio and other states as well, are saying, hey, we're going to outlaw it for kids under 14. And then in Florida, they say if you're 14 and 15, you can get on it with parental consent. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? My easy belief is I don't really want government in my business or my family's business. I'll handle my own children, okay? Don't worry about my kids. I got it. I'm taking it off his phone. But many times conservatives want to protect everybody else, too, and it's the morality police here. Parents need to learn how to be good parents without government showing them how to. So I don't really like this, but I know a lot of my friends do. I don't know how my very good friend Morgan McMichael feels. She is a Turning Point USA contributor, prolific on social media herself, and has great social media pages. Morgan, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me back, Grant.
Morgan, I didn't want to know where you stood. I said to my producer, Rob, I said, buddy, bring me anybody. I don't care what they think. I want to have a discussion. What do you think about this?
So as somebody who has been on social media since the ripe age of 13, right when Instagram came out, right when TikTok used to be Musical.ly, I actually think that there does need to be some level of monitoring. You know, Facebook used to have verification where you had to be, I think, 13 or 14 to even have a Facebook page. And this was back in 2012 when I was trying to get a Facebook. But the thing is kids will just continuously lie about their birthdays to join the social media apps because everybody else is on them. So I don't think that making legislation in just one or two states of, hey, you're 14 and 15, you can't be on the app until you're this age is actually going to make a difference unless there is some sort of ID verification, which I do know is something that they are pushing. And in that case, I really don't like it because why would the government need to have all of this information and more metadata from these young kids and then eventually adults? If it is simple as putting in your birthday and it's more of the honor system of verifying, hey, you can't be 15 to get on this app, great. But if it's going to require uploading an ID and really monitoring that, I'm not really sure how I feel about the government being in all of our business.
All right. This is see, Morgan, I didn't even know this, but you and I are on the same page. This ID requirement could be disastrous. What happens if you want to open a fun account for your cat and you don't want to put your name on there because you don't want your coworkers knowing it's you posting stupid cat pictures? Now you have to show an ID. Now, I understand there's fake accounts that attack me on a daily basis. There's bots on Twitter that they'd love to have ID verification, but so be it. It is what it is. Now you're going to have everybody show ID. That could be a real problem, Morgan.
I agree. I think it could be a problem, especially in the future. Starting out, I don't think it could be a problem right now. And I do think that there should be some level of protection of our next generation. I mean, we see how detrimental social media is to Gen Alpha right now, being raised really just completely consumed by the internet. And I think parents need to do a better job of getting their kids off the internet. But I do think there needs to be some level of, hey, children really shouldn't be on the internet at such a young age, especially in apps like TikTok, like Instagram. I think we've seen a lot more harmful effects of these apps in our generation, including memory problems, mental health issues. And I think parents really need to step up and maybe for the adults not have the age verification. But I don't know. Social media is a tricky issue for me.
All right, so I had this encounter with my son. He's going to be 15 in June. We're watching hockey playoffs yesterday. He's sitting in his chair, and he's on his phone and watching the game. And I said, dude, too many screens. And he looked at me, and he says, Dad, look at you. And, of course, I have my phone, and I'm looking at the screens, and we're all – but you have to rein it in. I noticed him when he was 13, and I should amend my statement. He was 13. I gave him Instagram. I thought that was the least harmless of all of them. And I saw him chasing likes early on, just chasing likes. I said, nope, we're taking it away. And I didn't give him social media back until just a couple of months ago, Morgan.
You're microdosing yourself with these dopamine highs that these kids are getting addicted to where they're constantly chasing that rush that they're getting by being online. I mean, Gen Z's attention span has completely been diminished now, almost 7 to 8 seconds that you have to watch a video. And it really is that instant gratification that they're receiving from the app that is completely distorting what reality is. I actually met a girl who is not on Instagram, is not on social media at all. She's 14 years old, and she had a group of friends over, and she was heartbroken when all of her friends were at her house hanging out with her. And instead of paying attention to her and hanging out, they were on their phones and just talking to each other and being on social media. So we're really seeing this effect of the next generation is becoming way too used to being around less human interaction.
All right, real quick. I know you don't have kids, but I trust you. You're a smart young lady, and I do trust you on a lot of issues, not just social media stuff. If you were advising a parent when their kid should have access to social media, what would you tell them? Real quick.
I would tell them wait till high school at least, and honestly encourage them to wait further. But I think high school is an okay age to start having social media and being able to interact with others online, but in a monitored and safe environment.
There's this peer pressure, this Snapchat. This is how kids communicate, and I'm trying to still remember that. But I don't like pictures disappearing. A lot of nefarious things can go on with teens and pictures disappearing. I'm shocked Hunter Biden didn't use Snapchat, but it would have served him well. Morgan McMichael, thank you for coming on.